Assalamualaikum, I am Muhammad Arif bin Sapiri. Today I will be given an explanation about a very important place, country, which is the historic city of Melacca. As we know, Melacca is a city that extend for a long time and its history. The Melacca to be different because it's very water. Therefore, I am your host today and don't forget with me Mr. Isham, Mr. Isma, Mr. Akif, who are the people who will give the opinion about the historic city of Melaka. Okay, my first question to Mr. Isham is why should we present the place?
Okay, thank you to moderator. I am Hisham. Okay, why do we need to preserve that place? Because this Melaka has many events and precious release that triggered very dangerous phenomena in its heyday. Um, this is proven by its remain, the Famosa
Eh,
and
ni
the
apa ni?
Stenhouse building.
Next
The
question is
relic
for
is
Mr.
still
Isma.
preserved
How do
until now. To
how do
maintain its
we educate
authenticity is very
our kids
difficult.
on heritage or
Um,
previous
it's very difficult due to the
preservation?
factor of age of the relic, which is hundred of year old. Um, Apart from that, there is a royal palace. As we know, Melaka does not have a sultan now, but in its heyday, Melaka was a great power in government. Therefore, the palace is maintained for generation to see where Melaka has a great history. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Isham point. Okay, next question is for Mr. Isma. How do we educate of kid or health prevention?
Okay, thank you for the to the host. Now I want to share my opinion. I can give some way to preserve our heritage, especially for Melaka, as we know as one of the best historical places in Malaysia. The first way to preserve our heritage is start with earlier generations. For example, grandparents, aunts, and uncles who are originally from other parts of the world can offer a wealth of information about their native country. Suggest that your children interview this relative, asking questions about where they grew up, the types of foods they ate, traditions they practices, game they played, and the holiday they celebrate. Discuss which of these traditions our family might be able to carry on, such as celebrating a national holiday. Next way is visit museum or historical place in Melaka. As we know, a lot of places that have history in Melaka that you can get some knowledge. For example, some of popular places that foreign tourists or local always visit are Formosa, Melaka Sultanate Palace Museum, Church of Saint Paul, and so on. And the last way is educating with book and movies. So many books you can get from bookstore, online shop, and maybe from the library which tell about history of Melacca. The name of book
Baik,
that you
baik.
can search which is
Baik.
tells about history of Melacca
Next question
are
for Mr.
the
Akif.
story of
What
Melacca,
are the
Old
persons
Melacca,
object in
and
Melaka?
a history of
The
Church
object
Melacca.
to Melaka.
Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Isma. Next question. Next question for Mr. Akif. What are the precious objects in Malacca?
Thank you for the moderator. Now I want to talk the object preserved in a local museum, especially Melaka.
Baik, lagi baik.
Now I want to talk about two museum, which is the Melaka Museum and the Samudra Museum. The first, the Melaka
How do you
Museum.
do, please?
The Malacca state
Present.
government has taken the initiative to propose that a replica of the Malacca Malay Sultan Palace be built with the aim of building the spirit and glory of the Malacca City Empire. This museum has become one of the interesting that you must visit when you arrive in Malacca. You can explore the interior atmosphere of a place through the Balerong Seni diorama. The delegation of merchants, the Hang Tuah and Hang Jebat battle diorama and Sultan's Room. Various models of Malay place were also presented. Alongside displays of traditional clothing collections, jewelry accessories, weapons, and pottery. This Malacca Museum contains exhibition materials like the Royal Pancaragan Room, firearms, jewelry, gifts, recreation hall, and Islamic hall. The galleries highlight the Battle of Hang Tuah and Hang Jebat, traditional clothing, and royal chambers. Among the exhibition are prints and pictures of the Malacca Malay Sultan, models of Sultan Mansur Shah Palace, Malay weapons, traditional Malay, traditional Malay wedding dresses, jewelry, and bracelet. The second museum is Samudra Museum. The Samudra Museum is a replica of the Flor de la Mar ship that was built in the early 1990s and was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of Malaysia Force, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, on 13 June 1994.
How do you please?
The main focus of this museum is the maritime history of Melaka and the heyday of Melaka as the Eastern Emporium. It also reveals that maritime political unrest in Malacca, which proves that the loss of political power means the loss of everything. The exhibition in the museum shows the development of trade from the time of the Malacca Malay Sultan to the Portuguese, Dutch, English colonial times, and the era of the Japanese conquest of Malaya. Also on display are paintings, old maps, ship models, and artifacts related to maritime and trade in Malacca. So this for me. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with point Mr. Akif. Point. Okay, Mr. Isham, how do you pieces this story of Melacca in our own country?
Um, um, Melaka is a unitary history. Therefore, there are several steps that need to be taken to preserve this Melaka. For example, making history a compulsory subject for study every student. Um, this is because students will be able to learn and better understand what has happened in our country. In addition, this method is also capable, capable of making the Malaysian community aware, especially among students, of the importance of history to be remembered by all walks of life. Um, um, in addition, history can also be preserved by holding World History Day every few years. World History Day should be objective as a day of remembering history. History does not have to be boring. One of the method to make history more interesting is to hold reenactment such as holding a film or other. The film need to be made interesting and not too much according to historical fact. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Isham. I agree with Mr. Isham point. Next question. Next question. Mr. Isma, what are the steps to take to protect the place?
Okay, the step take to protect the place, I only get three steps, which is the first step is laws for historic buildings. The Melaka should be established through legislation whereby a national inventory or state inventory of historic
The last
buildings
question from
should include
to Mr.
lists
Akif.
and schedules
What
of
are
whole
the agencies
buildings
able
and
able
monuments
in
for
heritage
protection.
preservation in Malaysia?
The second step is conservation zones can also be created through proper town planning action with guidelines for, for redevelopment and the integration of new buildings. And the last step is financial incentive should be provided to owners to reuse their historic properties while other could be compensated. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Isma. I agree with Mr. Point. And the last question from me to Mr. Akif. What are the agencies available in heritage preservation in Malaysia?
Thank you for the moderator. In Malaysia, we have many agencies involved in heritage preservation in Malaysia, but I just want to say 10 agency in Malaysia. Okay, the first is National Department of Culture and Arts Planning. Okay, this agency collecting and distributing art and culture materials and information, provide advisory service, as expert and financial assistance to governmental organization. Okay, the second is National Archive Department of Malaysia. This agency collect acquire and maintain national records, preserving archival materials like the Tunku Abdul Rahman Memorial and the Tunku Abdul Razak Memorial. The third is National Academies of Arts, Culture and Heritage, or HORSES. This agency Arts, Culture and Heritage Study Center, giving birth to employees, artists and art activists. Next is the Department of Museums and Antiquities Malaysia. As a National Heritage Resource Center, research, collect, maintain and disseminate knowledge through exhibition. This agency also do a research, collect, maintain and disseminate knowledge through exhibition. Next is Department of Culture Heritage. This agency do enact art acts, collect documentation, research, preserve and develop heritage. Next is Istana Negara. Istana Negara is the place to perform the arts like theatre, dance and music. Next, people was know this agency, National Film Development Corporation of Malaysia or FINAS. This agency do development the country's film industry. Next is Malaysia Handicraft Development Corporation. This agency develop and promote craft enterprise. Next is National Library of Malaysia. This library is a center for the collection, documentation and conservation of national knowledge resource. And the last one is National Gallery of Art. This place collecting, preserving, conserving, exhibiting, promoting, fostering awareness and appreciation of art to the entire community. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I agree, Mr. Akif point. Therefore, what are the conclusion for our discussion today? Melacca is a place that very important to visit and take care of. This is further reinforced by the opinion given Mr. Hisham, Mr. Isma, and Akif, and will go the first and forum for today. Thank you, you all. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.